Let me start with saying India is not perfect and Africa is not miserable, but there are ton of things Indians wish they had from Africa, the same way things which African nations wish they had, which India already have. And there's so many of them, but here are at least some of them which you can see at first sight in India and you can't see them in Africa. And as an African, I really wish these things were in my country also. Number one, of course, the cultural identity. India has a history which is from thousands of years. And for me, the earliest history I can remember of myself, it's literally from my grandfather. And apart from that, everything else is written about me and my country from a foreigner. It's like there is no identity of my culture at all, right? You have to rely on what other people think you were to know who you are, which at least India has. Number two, the sense of national unity. It is there in my country. It is there in Africa. But I have to pay a visa to get in another African country where there are people who sometimes speak my own language, also dress like me, act like me, and everything like me. And you have to pay a visa to enter that country. And even in my own country, the unity which you find in people there isn't anywhere close to what you will see in India. I usually see when it's Independence Day in India how every family, every house will be mobilized, having a flag on their rooftop and everything. It's so beautiful watching the unity which Indians have. Now the economy, number three, which is somehow a little bit strange, watching how India literally came also from nothing and they've been building themselves, and today one of the fastest growing economy in the world, and they have so many richest guys in the world literally from India. This is not something you see commonly in Africa because a lot of things. The education system in Africa, as I can take the case of my country, Congo, we still rely on an education system from the colonized. The way we learn, the way we do things, that is barely our own point in things which we learn. We literally have to copy everything from outside to see how we have to be educated. Comparatively to India, where they have been adjusting so many things to fit the need of the nation in India, rather than just copying from outside to teach people. And lastly, the healthcare. Of course, people will say the healthcare in India is not that perfect, but so many people in Africa still rely on the healthcare of India. I mean, actually, majority of what we consume in Africa as health products literally come from India. This is an area which so many African nations haven't invested that much when it comes to research, pharmacy, and the healthcare system is still so poor in Africa that there is a lot which you have to be proud. In all the reason of me making this video doesn't mean that Africa is miserable, but on so many things which Africa is failing today, India was once there and they worked their way to be where they are today. And African nations have a reason also of seeing how India worked so hard to pick themselves from nothing, from zero, after being colonized, to make themselves one of the greatest nations in the world today. And I think as Africans, we should see where others worked, where they stumbled, so that we couldn't go through the same mistake which they had in the past, but also see where they did well, so we can just copy the same system of what they did to also become great someday. Thanks so much for being here. Catch you next time.